This Week 9 NFL DFS edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBet. WynnBet is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBet has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, and get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET.
Hey everybody, Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this, let it ride.
Long, Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Final answer: DFS show happens late in the week every week. I just love the result. I love the process. I love the result. And I feel like I got a fire fucking lineup, and I don't think I would have had this fire fucking lineup if we did the show on Monday or Tuesday.
I know some people are like, "Hey, we kind of like it early in the week." I think that is just. I think that's just the creature of routine, creature of habit. I'm the same way. You just get used to it at a certain time of the week. I know. I think my lineups will be better. We get injury news.
Yep.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor ruled out. Seemed like he was going to be fine earlier in the week. Austin Eckler. Now he's been downgraded to questionable. There's a real chance he doesn't play.
No, he's off the report.
He's off. Well, there you go. See, that's
he's
what I'm
off
saying.
The report now.
Thursday, when you see the Thursday practices, that's really a good indicator of who's going to play or not. And obviously that's huge when we're hammering away at these DFS lineups.
And what if I told you part of the reason for the move, early season college basketball, early week?
Yes.
I mean, what better way to fill the feed earlier in the week than some college basketball, baby?
Yes, that will create some opportunities for college basketball. Man, there's just so much great action going on, including my Philadelphia Eagles moving to 8-0. Shout out to the haters. Oh, you can't cover 13.5. We're busy building an empire over here. 8-0. Hey, if you're looking to bet on the Eagles or any of the NFL teams, hey, maybe you even want to get down on the World Series, college football. Like Ryan said, college basketball. We're going to have a college basketball podcast on the main feed. Stay tuned. There is so much to get down on. And of course, who doesn't like a good free bet? That's right. Bet $100, get a $100 free bet. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. And of course, the WynnBet win hour. That's right. Every Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m. East, we are actually in the WynnBet hour now. If you are on watching on YouTube, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Head over to WynnBet now. Get in on the WynnBet hour. Again, better odds, better parlays. Spin that parlay wheel. I love that thing. Offer subject to change, terms and conditions at WynnBet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state. Or playthrough WynnBet is available. If you're somebody who has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're also giving away an autographed jersey, either Brian Dawkins or Lawrence Taylor. Your choice, completely free to enter. All you got to do, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Hit subscribe, comment on a video. Now, each video that you comment on between now and when we pull the winner Sunday night is a different chance to win. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you don't miss the big announcement that you may have won. Joining us on the line to talk daily fantasy football, you know him from the SGPN Fantasy Football feed, Mr. Andrew Raub. What's happening, Andrew?
What's going on, guys? It's always good to be talking DFS. I've been cranking out a bunch of lineups this week, so I'm ready to, $3 million in the bank account.
Let's go.
I feel like I'm excited to talk about DFS, but since we have a resident Commanders football team,
commies,
Redskin fan, my first thing we got to talk about is obviously ownership looking like it's changing. And I don't know if you're following this, Sean. I know you've been running around dealing with stuff. RG3,
yeah,
per his own Twitter page, already has 400 million ready to go. I would love to see RG3 as a part of this ownership group. We're gonna get the Amazon guy, but I don't know, Andrew. I mean, obviously you're excited because anything's better than Snyder. But is there someone you would be excited to be involved in the ownership of the Washington football team?
Man, dark horses are Peyton Manning said he wouldn't mind owning a franchise. That would be legit. And also Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a huge Commanders fan.
Yeah.
He definitely has enough money. So those would be the fun ones. Honestly, the guy who owns all the other DC sports, his name's escaping me right now, but he has said that he is also interested in buying the Commanders. So anybody but Jeff Bezos or Dan Snyder would be fine by me.
Is it Ted Leone? Is it?
Yes. Yeah. He owns like all the other things.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be some combination, right? Like it seems like a guy like Bezos gets what he wants. Like he's got an island. He's probably got property in space already. If he wants to own a football team, right? Like that's the next logical step of power.
Yeah, I mean the NFL is one of the few things that money can't buy, in the sense that there's just limited opportunities.
Trump wasn't let into the exclusive club, and it pissed him off.
Yeah, that could be a whole other story. But you only have 32 slots, so it doesn't. There's plenty of, and not plenty, but you know what I mean. Like there's a bunch of guys who can put together a bunch of money, but being an owner is really
there's only 32, but one of them is that crazy fucker down in Jacksonville who loves wrestling,
Shahir Khan or something. Yeah, he's challenging the WWE. One of the few like legit challengers. I see, Andrew, in your background when you came on. Well, you really upgraded your podcasting space here. One, I noticed you got an autographed draft day poster from Ryan. That's looking badass. I saw a cardboard cutout. For a second, I thought it was you as a kid, but now I'm seeing you explained before the show that's actually your son. It was one of those things where, like, during the COVID season, you could pay to have them be on the field as a fan. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, thanks. I know you can't see it off to the side as well, but we have a signed. Here, I'll move it over a little bit. There's a signed picture of Joe Paterno being carried off of the field after his 400th win. It's signed by Eric Shrive, who is the gentleman right here. Just some Penn State memorabilia for you as well.
Little trivia there. I was actually at that game, and nice. they ran down the field, and I shook Joe Pa's hand as they were carrying him off. So
awesome.
maybe I just that part of the photo is where all the players were. It's like later on, I was like, yeah, Joe Pa.
Hold on to that story, because I feel like in the future they won't be allowed to rush the field.
That's true. That is one of the things the fun police are going after you. Before we get to our DFS lineups, we're going to do that in just a second. Got to get your thoughts on the Commander quarterback situation. I was hearing someone, I was listening to the announcer, I think it was during the Commies game, and he was saying, in 3 more weeks, Carson Wentz is ready to return. And I just laughed out loud because I go, return to what? There's no way in my mind they're letting him play again at all. To me, it's like, let's see what we can do with Heinicke. If Heinicke fails, I think you want to see what you get with the rookie there. Like, or if they get completely knocked out of the playoff picture, give Hal a couple starts at the end of the season. How do you see the Washington quarterback situation shaking out?
Yeah, I don't think Wentz plays again at all, because if he does, if he can, continues to play, then they're going to have to give up a second rounder instead of the third rounder that they originally gave. So I think he saw his last minutes on the field already. I do think if Heinicke keeps winning, he will keep the spot for as long as they're in some sort of hunt for the playoffs. If that ever diminishes, then I do think we will see Hal, and just so they can take a look at what they actually have in the rookie as well. But as far as Commander Carson, I'm pretty sure we saw the last of him already.
The deep conspiracy is purely like Heinicke might actually be bad for the franchise because the fans love him so much, but his ceiling probably isn't high enough. But he'll always be that ghost, that shadow that the new guy has to deal with, because when Heinicke plays, it's fucking fun, right? It's like that chick that you hung out with for 2 weeks in the summer. Like it's just fun. Like 100% fun was going to be happening, right? So
not long-term fun, but
we don't know. Sam Howell could be a naggy as shit, fucking really be into
complete wet blanket
to shitty movies.
I mean, I forget when we brought that up, but comparing him to Ryan Fitzpatrick just seems like that's dead on, right? Yeah. He's
just
kind
everyone loves him.
Kind of a gamer. Does he throw the best ball? No. Does he somehow pull out some wins he probably shouldn't have? Yeah, and I could see why the fan base would want to ride with him. And if the division wasn't so tough, And I almost want to apologize, Andrew. I mean, we're just dominating here, and the Giants are good for some reason. The Cowboys are winning a bunch of games. Like I feel like the Commanders aren't having a horrible season, but they're just randomly all of a sudden in the best division in football, right?
Yeah, definitely. When I look at these other divisions, and Washington could either be number 1 or 2 in these other divisions,
Yeah, it's crazy.
It hurts, but that's all right, man. NFC beast. We went from the least to the beast, so I'll take it.
So and real quick, just a little tout on the division. People are pointing out that no one is below 500. Great, we're a gambling show. Did you know there's not a team in the division under 500 ATS either?
That's even crazier. It's one thing, yeah, to have a great just win loss, but against the spread is really crazy.
Giants and Cowboys are 6-2, Eagles are 5-3, and the Commandos are 4-4. So Carson wasn't responsible for a ton of that. I know that.
Go figure.
Commander reporting for duty. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the DFS picks, the lineups.
Do we want to look at last week real quick?
Oh yeah, sure. I keep forgetting.
All right, it was a Tua double with Tyreek and Waddle.
Yeah.
There was no bring back. Unfortunately, the bring back is dead, Sean. I think we have to accept it. Running backs were the like chalk Kamara Pollard plays that hit fucking almost 80 points between the two. Then you had Garrett Wilson and Conklin. So you had 2 Jets going against the Patriots. I never would have done that.
I randomly did have one lineup with Garrett Wilson in it just because it worked out salary wise.
Nice.
And I go, oh yeah,
Nice.
maybe. And he took one. I think he had like a catch and run for 70 yards. Very fluky. But I did stumble onto that, and I was surprised how well
a standalone DJ Moore, another completely chalk play, and the New Orleans defense. So the ownership, just like eyeballing it, 4 players cumulative ownership north of 110%. Just 4 players.
Yeah,
that's just from Pollard, Hill, Waddle, and Moore. I mean, you add in another 35 from 2. It's just the ownership's through the roof. Like, this is crazy. This was a single win. In some ways.
Yeah, it is crazy. And Andrew, I know you follow this stuff. You're deep in the weeds with the fantasy feed and underdog, best ball, everything. You talk GPP strategy as well. It's weird. It seems like almost these lineups that would be designed almost for a cash game lineup where you're not really worrying about ownership and kind of just playing the best plays. They seem to be ones that are winning these big GPP tournaments. Do you have any thoughts on as to like why the cash has been hitting or the chalk has been hitting? And it doesn't seem like it's a great time to have any sort of contrarian lineups. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think the NFL is just really weird this year with scoring. For fantasy, you know, things are just not going the way that they typically do, and you know, the assumption of the bring back, you know, as Ryan had alluded to, it's just not working this year. I still believe that is the ultimate way to build your lineup, is to have a bring back, because you're looking for the games that are going to score the most points and have the most implied points to them. And you know, a majority of the time when it gets into a shootout, that is when you want to have multiples of those players. So I still think that that's probably the way that you want to go. But I mean, the NFL has just been really weird with the way that it's been going recently. So I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. I listen to a lot of different shows that talk about it, and no one's really hammering it home that there's a specific thing. It's just the NFL is just wonky this year. It's drunk.
Everyone's saying the same thing. Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker too. I will say the takeaway here is, like, specifically in the pass game plays, it was all about just cornering markets on like obvious situations. Waddle and Hill get most of the targets in Miami. Strangely, with the injuries, Wilson and Conklin got most of the targets there in New York. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would be more inclined to just say that, coins come up tails more times than it's come up heads. All
right.
I don't change. I don't change the process, although I am changing my process a little bit. I agree with what Andrew said. I think correlation is still key. I think just doing correlation slightly differently might be the way to zig off of the, like, because bringbacks are obviously very chalky. The way that the way that data.
Yeah, I think there is some of that stuff too, where the field has gotten smarter as far as like playing those type of strategies, and maybe playing like old school, less correlated stuff is in a weird way contrary.
But you're that, and end of the conversation here, so we don't go forever. But that's the answer to your question. Why is it different this year? Because the field is probably smarter. there's probably a lot of people that said no way that lineup can win. I'm not looking.
Everyone's gonna own that.
I'm never gonna look at a lineup with over 80% cumulative ownership. And so that's all it is. So people are just excluding themselves from very, very obvious stuff like this, especially when it somehow fits in the cap.
Getting too cute. All right, Kramer, kick it off. Who do you got for your quarterback?
As I say this, I roll out my guy, Justin Fields. I will say this, Sean.
Yeah.
Your comments about his fantasy prowess this year are starting to come true. We mentioned this in the offseason too, the Luke Getsy RPO thing, right? We said and let's tie this all the way because we were just watching Lane Kiffin, but he coached under Lane Kiffin, that RPO. Then he went to Aaron Rodgers and it wasn't used a ton. And now it seems like they've gotten to a point where they're starting to implement it. Justin Fields needed a little bit he needed that extra semester, you know what I mean, to process. But I think more than anything, in a game where I expect Tua and the boys to put up points, that means Fields is going to be running around. For 5,300, I can get a quarterback who's, I think conservatively 10 carries is probably around the floor.
Yeah.
And he's passing better. I'll say it out loud. And he's passing better. I mean, 74% last week on his 151 yards. Congratulations to him. He did lose by 20 points. Remember that, people.
34 carries, 230 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
You also have Fields.
Yes, I also have Fields. The design,
this is weird. Yeah.
The design run stuff is just there. He's 5,300, and you can stack him in my mind pretty easily with his number one receiver.
Him and Mariota being 53 and 5,400 this week are, and Heinicke, quite frankly, in that same. It's insane the amount of it does feel old school this week in that I wasn't buying up for quarterback.
Yeah, and I do like these non-conference games. I like. Why do you keep laughing?
No, because I keep forgetting that angle. We got to do a deep dive on this.
No, every winner I feel like.
Remind me after the show. I can pull this from.
Last game
Reference.
it was who was the winning quarterback? It was Tua, right, in the lineup. Yeah, and that was in a dome. Now, if the weather gets super shitty, maybe I pivot. I'm sure I'll have another.
No, it's nice. It's just windy. That's perfect for Justin Fields.
It probably is. It's a dream spot. $5,300. I mean, you have to scroll down to get to Justin Fields, and he's a guy. To Kramer's point, he's probably going to get 10 carries.
Don't you remember back in the day? It was always like scroll down, find the cheap quarterback, and build around that.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like that might be the week this week. What are you doing, Andrew? What are you doing to attack this slate here? Who do you got for your quarterback?
Oh, I'm going to take a man that's pretty pissed off that his team didn't trade for a wide receiver, and that is Aaron Rodgers at $5,900.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what happens when Aaron Rodgers gets pissed off. The team obviously just gave him a big fuck you and said, deal with it. It is what it is. The Packers have the 4th most implied point total this week. And against the Bears in the last 9 games, I was going to use 10, but he got knocked out of that one first quarter. He's averaging 275 passing yards and all but 3 touchdowns. I think at $5,900, it's a very, very, very good value. I was very tempted to take Josh Allen because I think that with the high cost of him and Diggs, that not a lot of people are going to be on that, and I do still think that that's a value because they just blow out the Jets. But I decided to go with the pissed off Rodgers.
There are some decently cheap punt options this week which makes me think Josh Allen might catch a little bit of more ownership. I like Rodgers. I mean, who's not going to click Geno Smith right underneath Rodgers? I mean, it does seem like Rodgers could be a sneaky play, and great transition to my RB1 because
Aaron Jones.
Jesus Christ, this is a problem.
I also have Aaron Jones.
Yeah, make that a third.
Okay,
all right. Everyone on Aaron Jones.
So I fully expect him to be fairly popular this week. Detroit's been awful against the running back. I think only Houston and Chicago have been worse. And just on top of that, they've just given up points. I think the number is they've given up 32 plus points per game. Next worst defense is giving up 27, Sean. Let that sink in. 5 points per game worse than the next best defense. Then Aaron Jones just hasn't been the target we thought he was. And I got to imagine at some point, maybe this is the last week I do this, but the fuck it, Aaron Jones is going to finally get his 10 targets.
Yeah, and he also is one of those guys, Ryan. Obviously, you cashed a big one. Was last year, I think, but he has those like multi-touchdown,
4
games.
touchdowns in one game.
Yeah, like that. That's into the realm of possibilities. He had 2 against the Commanders. Like it's certainly a world where he pops off is not crazy. I think they're 32nd, Detroit's defense and rush DVOA, and I think they're bottom in both pass and rush DVOA, which is almost impressive because normally if you're so bad at one thing, offenses will do that thing, and then just by like lack of volume or whatever, the other one will balance out. But they've been shitty at both. Anything you want to add to the Aaron Jones play, Andrew?
I mean, this year he's averaging 18.6 touches per game and 98.4 yards per game. It doesn't seem like that because it seems like he has very down games, but he has those boom games as well. So I do think that, there's a 2+ touchdown game loading for him. And, Ryan, you had mentioned on it, it's Houston and the Chargers who are the only teams that concede more fantasy points than Detroit. So, I think Aaron Jones is a smash play here.
Yeah. Eat the chalk, right? All right. RB2. I'm going to go to Jacksonville, Sean. Do we still have the same lineup?
No.
Okay, Travis.
I did think of playing ETN and Josh Jacobs are both guys I want to find in the lineup. So I didn't put him in this one.
You mentioned Josh Jacobs, so I was surprised to hear you say Jones and not Jacobs. But
I was going back and forth, and then I did a game stack in that Green Bay Detroit. So
ETN, Jacksonville, 6,300. Just another case where. Not like Aaron Jones, but like a Josh Jacobs, like some of these guys that will probably be chalky. He's just getting all the touches. Last week we saw it right against the good Denver defense, 24 carries, 156 yards, 3 catches, only 6. But again, he got the touch. He scored in 2 weeks in a row. And I think this is the guy people were drafting in the 3rd round, 4th round of those best ball drafts, or at least the FFPC drafts. In terms of the optimism, he looks every bit the part. And what did Kamara just do? Granted, it was a Kamara versus the city of Las Vegas game, but Kamara just went the fuck off. So we just read his name in the winning Millie Maker lineup. So 6,300 Travis Etienne.
Well, yeah, and 24. What do you have? 24 carries too.
It's just volume. Like no one else is. I thought they made it seem like Hasty might get a little bit more work. Seems like not. Trevor Goldilocks and his favorite. Was it Bears? What did Goldilocks have? Pigs?
What? No, she broke in and was trying to find, that one bed was too big, one bed was too small, one was just right.
I was way off. Anyway, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, their reunion from college is finally complete on the field.
It does
together
seem
the
like
whole time.
What do you got, Andrew? What's your RB2 here?
I took Antonio Gibson, 5,500. Since Heinicke has come back, Antonio Gibson is definitely the RB1 on that team. He's being hyper focused on, in the pass game. He had 8 targets last week for 7 receptions. I don't see that going away because I do expect Minnesota to be up in this game. So I think Brian Robinson's definitely going to take a back seat, this week again. So Antonio Gibson to get a all but starting running back there for 5,500. That's tremendous value, and that opened up, for my wide receiver depth a little later.
What a great twist, because I had so many best ball drafts where I was like, Antonio Gibson's still there this late. He is a starting running back.
No, it's been a real resurgence. I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Andrew, because
McKissick's out, it seems.
Yeah, it seemed like early on we know it was like, all right, Antonio Gibson lost his job to Brian Robinson Jr. and then that same day Brian Robinson Jr. gets shot. Crazy story. Then it's like, okay, Antonio Gibson's there, but they like McKissick better than Antonio Gibson. And now Brian Robinson Jr. came back and they're like, oh, give him the ball. And then I think they've realized he's not that efficient. And now it seems like Antonio Gibson is the guy. Like, what do you think he's going to be the guy moving forward? It sounds like it, right?
Yeah, I honestly think that Brian Robinson will still be the lead back. Maybe more so around the goal line when they're within 5 yards and they want to pound it in there because he's a little bigger than Antonio Gibson. But I think once the coaching staff realized that they needed to get Antonio Gibson, out of the backfield and more off to the side a little bit, catching passes, I think they finally realized like, oh shit, you know what, this guy is pretty good at catching the ball and pretty good in open space. So I think he has now transitioned over into the McKissick role. But honestly, they're still giving him, snaps out of the backfield as well. So it's kind of confusing what they're doing. You never know week to week, but Antonio Gibson is definitely the one who is the best with the ball in his hand. As long as he keeps it in his hand, that was his downfall before, right? was fumbling. So as long as he doesn't fumble, I honestly think that he'll keep this kind of lead dog role.
Two guys who are dogs for the wrong reasons. Josh Jacobs and Antonio Gibson talking about them both today.
For me, my second running back. Now, this is where I'm getting a little too cute, but instead of taking either Waddle or Hill for my bring back, because of the long turf in Soldier Field, because of possible windy conditions, and because I think they will catch some ownership just because they're going up against the Bears and they're popular receivers. I'm going Raheem Mostert here for $6,100. I am slightly concerned about Jeff Wilson maybe popping off, but to me, I like coming back with Raheem Mostert, $6,100. I do think at least for this game, he'll still be the primary ball handler here, and he's had games. If we get a game like the one against Pittsburgh where he had those 4 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown on top of what he did rushing wise, that's where I think he can really break the slate. And I'm rolling the dice here at 6,100.
Yeah, and maybe a contrarian way to play a bring back at this point is slot in the running back.
Yeah.
All right, wide receiver 1. Justin Fields is completely naked for me, Sean. Just pure alpha athlete.
Raw dogging it.
I figured I'd play 3 running backs in this lineup.
Wow. Okay.
No. Justin Fields is the 3rd running back.
Okay.
I'm overloading the quarterback, but there you go. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1, 8,500. He was popular last week. I guess he could be popular again at the same price point. Maybe the Windy City will scare people off, but it felt like the natural way to play the bring back versus Waddle. So I had the salary. Tyreek Hill, 8,500.
Big dog.
So that's game stack 1, Sean. Check.
What do you got, Andrew? First receiver.
My first receiver is going to be, hopefully he's looking more for touchdowns this week than Juliet, but it's going to be my boy Romeo Doubs to stack with Aaron Rodgers. I think he got back on Aaron Rodgers' good graces this week with that highlight reel touchdown catch he had where he had to turn his body around and catch on the opposite side. Obviously we all know Aaron Rodgers is a big trust guy. So Allen Lazard's still banged up, probably going to play, but I doubt he's 100%. So this game could be out of hand pretty quickly, and I don't think that they really want to risk getting Lazard any more hurt. So I think Romeo Doubs is going to be the one who's going to benefit from Rodgers going off here. Him and Aaron Jones are the two that are going to be the in the eye of the beholder for Rodgers.
I like that.
Yeah, no,
Although Sean would be playing Bobby Tanyan.
No,
if he was rolling out of Rodgers.
It's only 3,800. Come on, he calls him Bobby.
Great matchup against the Lions. They've been bad against the tight end.
Dude, they're horrible against the tight end. I don't think you can stack enough pass catchers at a Green Bay against this Lions team. I'm going. This guy, he had 2 touchdowns that first game. Hasn't had a receiving touchdown since. He did have 1 rushing touchdown. I like the matchup.
I know exactly.
Give me Justin Jefferson, 8,600 at the Commanders there. Last week he had a down week for him, which was 6 for 98. Before that, it was 6 for 107, 12 for 154, 10 for 147. He's just not getting the touchdowns. So I think if he can have another 100-yard game and get 1 or 2 touchdowns, that's going to be a monster play. I assume you're kind of worried about Justin Jefferson, right? What's your take on that play?
Yeah, definitely worried about him for the game. He is a little overvalued at his pricing point per different sources that I look at for ownership and pricing and the value per where all the other people going around them at the same pricing are. So he's a little down on that, but I mean, if the Commanders are going to get beat hard, it's going to be through the air because their secondary is middle of the pack. Their run defense is definitely better. So I do think Justin Jefferson has the ability to feast if he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I like the play. I certainly was trying to find ways to get McLaurin and Justin Jefferson into some stacks, but we don't know how Hawkinson's going to impact the offense. I guess he might help. That would be the only caveat, but I like it. I think it's a week to spend up with some of these receivers. I wonder how chalky they'll be. My wide receiver too, Sean. Somehow I fit 2 8,000 receivers in the same lineup. Give me Devontae Adams to stack with Travis Etienne.
Oh, okay.
Coming off a game where he clearly had some minor flu, as our boy Walter calls it. I think just a clear bounce back spot. I do think I like to play the guys coming off injury type stuff because Probably less popular. People will look at him and be like,
no, I like the play, Ryan. My concern is, were you the one that said he was still on the injury report?
He's good now. He's off.
Okay, so they got the Wuhan flu out of him. He's good to go.
I believe
because
so.
it did seem like he was. I forget if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. They were still kind of limiting him. So that would be my only concern.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the injury report right now.
And I like going against that Jags defense. The Jags suck. Don't need to get crazy on the analysis there, but they're just not that good defensively and create a ton of opportunities. And Devonta Smith
Devontae Adams was limited on Wednesday when we recorded.
Okay.
Full Thursday, full Friday, not on the final report.
Okay, so you're good to go then.
Yeah.
What do you got for your second receiver there, Andrew?
Oh, Stephon Diggs, 8,400. I mean, again, the Bills are going to destroy the Jets. Stephon Diggs has seen the volume game in and game out. He's a touchdown guy. I do think Josh Allen has the potential to put up 4 or 5 touchdowns this week, and Diggs could honestly catch at least 2 of those. The problem I was having when picking this is I also think Gabe Davis is a very good play this week, and I think he'll be a little less chalky than Diggs is, but Diggs is the go-to guy there, so I'll take that. 8,400, still a value. With his ownership, ownership projection for Diggs is less than 15%. So we'll see how that pans out. But 8,400 is a pretty good value for Diggs.
Yeah, I mean, specifically if you look at the $8,000 receivers, I don't think. I mean, Kupp is hurt. Jefferson, like you said, is a little bit expensive. Diggs also will probably show up decently expensive, and Hill will probably catch the chalk again. I would assume. I don't know. It's an interesting week for the receivers. I'm mentally noting to go back and make a Josh Allen, Diggs, Gabe Davis stack and figure out how to get super cheap everywhere else.
For my second receiver, this is one of my favorite plays of the slate. I don't understand why he's this low price. He had a couple injury issues, dealt with a fake concussion or whatever that was, where he got knocked out of the game, but then he didn't have a concussion, had an ankle thing because he's not doing the calf lifts. But Amon-Ra St. Brown at home, only $6,600. Detroit's defense sucks. To Andrew's point, like Green Bay very easily could run away with this game. He last week against Miami felt like was his first real game back after the concussion, the other injuries. He was 10 targets, 7 catches for 69 yards. Didn't even fully go off. I think he definitely could against this Green Bay defense, and 7 for 69. I feel like is that's like baseline for him. The ceiling is pretty high. One more week to come off that whatever that head thing was, his ankle. I really like this, especially for 6,600, kind of completing my Jones St. Brown game stack. I'm going to jump over to you, Andrew. Are you bringing it back with Amon-Ra at all?
Yep, yeah. That is my bring back. I mean, he should see double-digit targets in this easily. The offense is lacking playmakers. They just traded away Hawkinson. Devondre Campbell's also out for the Packers, so that'll open up the middle of the field a little bit, and that is where the sun god eats. So I do think that this is probably the best play. I did toy around with bringing back Jamal Williams for the hashtag revenge game on the Packers, but last time he played them, last year, it didn't go over very well for him. So we went to the sun god, but I do think that, with Devondre Campbell being out, that will really help him be able to, I realistically think that he should at least catch 7-8 balls and go over 100 yards.
He was in consideration. I spent all the monies elsewhere, Sean. So my wide receiver 3,
yes.
We're going to head to another game, which of course I'll be stacking, and that's Mr. Chris Godwin.
Ooh.
6,200. Evans is going to catch Ramsey.
Yeah.
Coming off an 11 target game. We love Godwin. He has not had that massive performance yet this year. Going back 3 games, 12 targets, 13 targets, 11 targets. It's just there.
He's got to connect on
the fact that his price went down is interesting. I guess it's an efficiency thing, only getting the yards, no touchdowns. I like the game environment here. I don't think a lot of people are going to play this game because it's a late game. B, it sits next to Seattle, Arizona, which is way more fun to play. And I kind of wanted to get involved here, and like to me, this is where I'm winning the million. Like this Godwin plus the next 2 players are going to be my super low on guys, and I was shocked to see his price only 6,200. Chris Godwin 6,200.
That's that seems like a great price for him.
And then I guess I'll go again since you guys already Wait, you already gave out your wide receiver 3?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I still have to give out my
you
wide
have to give
receiver
your
3. Brian, before we do that, I want to shout out Rocket Money. You tired of wasting money on subscriptions? Again, do you actually go line by line and see every item on your credit card bill, or are you like me, you set it up on auto pay? Oh, it's great. You never have to think about it, but there could be a lot of subscriptions on there. Hey, you had a free trial. Next thing you know, they start billing you. You completely miss it. That's where Rocket Money comes in. They could be saving you up to $100 a month, maybe $200 depending. And even if they save you only $20 a month, times 12 months, that's $240 a year. That's a lot more money. You could be betting on sweet parlays, entering in DFS lineups, whatever it is you want to do with your money. Don't throw it away for subscriptions you're not using. Rocket Money is truly awesome. All you got to do is go to rocketmoney.com/SGPN. That's rocketmoney.com/SGPN. Could be saving you hundreds, maybe even more. And they make it so easy to cancel. That's the other reason I feel like I don't end up canceling a lot of these things. I'm like, oh, it's a whole pain in the ass. I got to call some number, deal with the cancellation process. Rocket Money makes it super easy to cancel. rocketmoney.com/SGPN. We're also brought to you by Babbel. Love me some Babbel. Me encanta. Babbel es muy fácil. It's very easy in Espanol, and it truly is. 10 minutes a day. Next thing you know, you're speaking a new language or having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. They make it really fun too. It's not like your high school Spanish teacher cracking a ruler over your head, telling you to conjugate the verbs correctly. They make it fun. They got videos, podcasts, not only Spanish, French, Italian, German. They got you covered. Plus a 20-day money back guarantee if you don't like it, and you're gonna like it. All you got to do is go to babbel.com/SGP. That's BABBEL.com/SGP for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life. My third receiver, this is a crazy stack. I mean, you can get the stack with the number 1 receiver and you're only spending $10K. Gives you so many options. Darnell Mooney, 4,700. Has he had an amazing season? No, that's why he's 4,700. But he clearly is the number 1 target for Justin Fields. They seem to be getting some momentum here, figuring out how to play with them. 5 for 70 for only 4,700. I think he has touchdown upside as well here. Maybe he breaks something off. I still think Mooney is a talented guy. It's just Justin Fields figuring out the offense and then working up an offense that works for him. He's coming along. It's a slow process, but I think he's trending in the right direction. Darnell Mooney, $4,700.
I did not stack.
Yeah.
Simply because I didn't want to make a bet on Fields' arm.
Okay. That's fair.
I wanted to make a bet on Fields' legs in a situation where they're going to have to be trying to score a lot.
And he does spread it around. You gave out your third receiver, right? Andrew?
That was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah. So now you're back to tight end.
You ready to win $1 million?
Let's go.
All right. So
Anthony Ferguson.
We were discussing Brock Wright earlier in the week. Brock Wright is a tight end, and Brock Wright, from the way that I did my deep dive, I don't think he's far enough along in the concussion protocol to get cleared by Sunday.
Ooh.
Who is the third string tight end? Well,
question.
he went to Virginia Tech, played for Fuente. Guy by the name of James Mitchell, 2,500. He's a fucking athlete. He was a guy who was at some points being touted as a potential first round tight end prospect, much more of a receiver than a prospect. If he is the guy working the middle of the field and Amon-Ra St. Brown is drawing all the coverage, this is how you win $1 million. Tariq Cohen, meet James Mitchell, 2,500 for your Detroit Lions. That completes my Aaron Jones.
Great
game
play.
stack.
Love that. What do you got for your tight end?
Oh, Kramer, I don't know if you saw in the Dynasty League, by the way, I went and picked up James Mitchell. I don't
see a lot of things in that league. Don't worry.
#DegenZone.
We got to, which by the way, we got to, since we're talking, Andrew's good at facilitating things. We got to facilitate this team out of our control.
We will be raffling off our dynasty team.
I mean, we got future picks, man. Come on.
We are loaded for the future. If you're looking for a rebuilding process, our team is great to take over.
Reach out in Discord.
What do you got for your tight end, Andrew?
3,300. Evan Ingram. Over the last month, he is averaging 7.3 targets and 57.8 yards. Vegas gives up the third most fantasy points to tight ends, and he's becoming so much more of a pivotal point of this offense. Especially around the red zone. Trevor Lawrence looks for him. I know he's got some touchdowns in there. He just got one last week. So I think for the price point and, since Vegas sucks at covering tight ends, I think that this is a very, very, very good spot and a very good value for Evan Ingram.
It does seem like they're a little slow to adjust. I mean, it's now at a point where 12.99, 10.7, 15.5, like fairly consistent work is heading his way, and he hasn't really had that game. I certainly the idea of playing a Trevor Evan Ingram ETN game is loading in my. I'm gonna be heavily invested in the Millie Maker this weekend, I think.
Ryan, when we were doing the Pick'em show, I said I like Chargers Atlanta for DFS. I probably will put together a lineup, maybe leaning Mariota, but now we're dealing with Eckler's re-injured something or whatever.
They're just being babies with him.
Okay. Abdomen injury.
Yeah, that
doesn't take a shit.
That doesn't sound good.
He's learning from DK.
Yeah, get carted off for the deuce. And then Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, both out. Josh Palmer, I think, is interesting, and I don't mind playing him. He's got the Q tag, but Gerald Everett, are you kidding me? 4,800, a guy who's just going to get a ton of looks and targets in a Justin Herbert led offense in a dome game. I mean, am I crazy here? I'm worried it's going to be chalky, but this feels like a strong.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think people see Atlanta as a running team. I know there's a lot of sharps are on the Chargers this week as a get right spot for Herbert.
Yeah.
I don't know if Herbert doubles are going to be super popular.
Well, so I'm not doubling him, but that's interesting.
No,
but
in
you're
general.
saying he would catch ownership through a Herbert.
I don't know if the game environment pops off to people as I want to get involved in that game. Because I'm with you. I think it has potential. I don't have any guys in this lineup, but I certainly like the idea of playing an Eckler Pitts or something diabolical like that.
But yeah, and the Atlanta running back situation, unfortunately, has gotten a little more cloudy with Cordero Patterson possibly coming back. My first instinct
Damian Williams.
Yeah, my first instinct was to play Algier, but he's not cheap, and if it's not a lock for the carries there, I don't know. Andrew, what do you make of that Charger Atlanta game? Any plays jumping off at you?
Yeah, actually, you just hit on my flex spot, which is Josh Palmer, $5,100. I mean, there's no Mike Williams, no Keenan Allen, Eckler. I did see the injury report. He had the abdomen injury. They did say he's going to play and he'll be fine, but I doubt he's 100%.
Yeah.
So I think Palmer could be in line for a big workload. Whether he turns that into a massive game or not is to be foreseen, but I do think that playing the Herbert double stack of him and Eckler or him and Everett is kind of, interesting to do, because I doubt that, as Kramer said, that anybody's going to really want to have a bunch of ownership of the Herbert and this game. So I think both plays are actually the best ones to have, to pivot off of Eckler to go either Palmer or Everett, or it's probably the smart way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the final report for the Chargers to put you guys feeling a little bit better. Eckler no longer on the injury report.
Okay.
Full participant on Friday.
All right, then maybe I will get some.
Per Ian Rappaport, sounded like it sounded like it was more or less like a rest thing. I don't know. Really could have just been he ate some bad seafood.
Well, it's I always. Something popping up during the week to me is always like a red flag.
But at least it was just he had the case of the shits. He didn't want to put the white pants on because he was just out of control. All right, are you? And
Atlanta Falcons. One more point I forgot. They're 6th in the league points allowed to the tight end. So again, good reason. I think
they're an interesting team. Fun fact: the Falcons are a bottom 5 team defensively defending the red zone, and they're a top 5 team efficiency wise attacking in the red zone, which makes for good overs.
There you go.
Are you on your tight end? No, you gave
I have not given out my flex. We're on our flex.
Yeah. So my flex, stacking with Chris Godwin in a game where Cooper Kupp should be banged up.
Ben Skoranek.
Van Jefferson. I know he's on the injury report, which is definitely going to scare people away, but he's the only guy. If there's someone that's going to win me $1 million because he catches a nice 40-yard, 50-yard bomb touchdown, I'm going for it. Van Jefferson to stack with Godwin. When I found this one, I said, "Mwah, this is it." I told you before.
Kiss.
I told you before. Normally, if you told me when I asked you who your quarterback was and you said Justin Fields, my normal response would be, okay, cool, I'll swap to a different lineup. But I said, I love this lineup too much to swap it. Van Jefferson, 3,500 stacked with Godwin, 8+ targets loading. This is going to be this is a banger, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I would have pivoted to Ben Skoranek, Ryan. He is that guy. He's gonna win us a bunch of money. We've been on Skoranek super early.
The decoy. We got to get like a Photoshop of one of those decoy duck, those duck things. Anyway, Andrew gave out his flex already. Sean,
yes,
you're on the flex.
My flex. This man is not a decoy, as some may have thought. He's coming off 7-catch game for 64 yards, second highest of his season. He also did have a game on the road where he went for 8 for 158 and 1 touchdown. Ryan, who am I talking about?
I don't know.
Give you one guess. I'm a huge fan.
I was gonna say Damian Pierce. He already played.
Mac Hollins. That's right, Mac Hollins, baby. Let's go. And he did that in a game where Devontae Adams was playing. Maybe Devontae Adams isn't 100%. I do, and he has big play potential. You know, I love him, but you know who really loves him? Derek Carr. Like, clearly, he's made him the second guy. Even last week, you know, Devontae Adams didn't do shit. Hunter Renfrow didn't do shit. Mac Hollins was like one of the only guys with a salvageable fantasy line, and he's only $4,500 going up against the Jags. What a time
to be alive.
Mac Hollins, let's go, baby. Kramer, who's your defense?
I assume we all played the same obvious defense. Somehow $300 less than the second cheapest defense, the New York Football Jets.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Steph Diggs is getting the sauce. Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, Sean. We've been talking about it. I so badly didn't care about doing a correlated defense because I wanted to spend up this week. When I saw that the Jets were so cheap, it was no brainer.
Yeah, I'm also on the Jets defense. Only $2,000. They're what did I had the note in the Pick'em show, but
the Lions are 2,600.
They've created 9 interceptions. Like they create turnovers.
And Josh Allen,
and they're at home
and doing Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's fortunate a little bit. Like, he's playing at an MVP level, but he's still turning the ball over a little bit. I'm rolling the dice here with the Jets as well. What do you have going for your defense here, Andrew?
Man, I had a little bit of money to spend up, so I took your 2020 NFC East champions, the Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
I've watched Kirk Cousins long enough to know that this dude shits the bed at FedEx Field. All right, it's gonna be bad either one way or the other. You know, honestly, I don't think that Kirk Cousins is gonna go off in this game. I do expect them to win, but I you know, the Commanders' defense has been playing better over the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's the Heinicke effect or you know, if they're just excited that Chase Young's gonna be coming back soon. But you know, I honestly think that there's a good chance that they pick off Kirk Cousins multiple times and you know, and rattle him. So let's go with Commanders 2,400.
Yeah, I mean, I just you know, they're trending in the right direction. Generally, teams kind of carry the momentum of how they've been
home
playing.
dog at 2.
I mean, I asked the question: is this a prime time spot for Kirk Cousins? And it kind of sounds like Andrew just said maybe
making it a primetime spot, returning to FedEx Field.
Well done, Sean.
Well done. I feel like we got some good lineups. I know it's a good DFS show. When I get, I'm immediately inspired to end the show and create 4 more lineups.
Create Josh Allen lineup. create Taylor Heinicke lineup. I'm definitely putting a Taylor Heinicke lineup.
The Rodgers lineup is loading, and then maybe even a Goff lineup is interesting.
Logan Thomas off the injury report, by the way.
Oh, really? What do you make of Logan Thomas? Are they going to ease him back in?
I think so, because he's probably their best tight end or best asset at tight end. So I don't think that they're going to go balls to the wall with him, you know, just coming back from being banged up. I don't think it's a terrible play because no one's going to be on him. But at the same time, you know, I already created a Heinicke lineup and I put McLaurin and Gibson as the 2 I paired up with them. You know, those are definitely the more chalky picks to pair with Heinicke. But Logan Thomas, man, don't think he can't score 2 touchdowns and only on 2 catches as well. You know, they do like to look to him in the end zone. So it could be a pretty good play.
Him and Heinicke hung out. Like, they hang out together. Like, that off-field shit. Like, they're bros.
Well, I saw the photo of them hanging out at Halloween party, and I just wrote, "Where's Carson Wentz?" with a tear emoji. QB1 didn't get the invite. Is he QB1?
Oh man,
We know that answer. Hey, hit subscribe, youtube.com/sportsgambling podcast. Comment on any of the videos. Now, unfortunately,
oh here we go.
just the way that comments go, the live chat stuff doesn't count. So you actually have to comment on one of the posted videos.
You're already there. Just scroll down, hit the thumbs up, and then scroll down and click
Very
comment.
easy. You don't have to enter anything else. Turn your notifications on because we're going to try and DM you through YouTube to get you the winning jersey. That drawing is going to happen on the air Sunday night during the recap show. And make sure you check out Andrew Raub on Twitter at @arob23. Check out all his work over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com and the SGPN Fantasy Football Show. Subscribe to that if you haven't already.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Sean, we'll have to have Andrew on at some point in a couple weeks, like towards the end of the season, do a little best ball.
Oh,
best ball.
Playoff
yeah.
best ball?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
and checking in on our teams.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because
You
I-
love to roster,
Oh,
bait.
every Monday morning I go, Ryan, 6 out of 22 qualifying. Let's go.
Are you guys doing any of the underdog battle royale stuff by any chance? Throughout the week?
We were talking. All right, we should. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, maybe we should because we haven't done any
It's
of those.
awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
it looks
Jesus,
fun.
All right.
All right, we need more action.
The stage.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green, and he is Ryan
Just gave out a banger, Sean.
Kramer. Let it ride.